Hey, I don't agree with you. Why don't you why don't just, what?
Just get a real job.
Why is this such a common thing? I honestly get this quite a lot. For some reason or another, someone disagrees with me, or they otherwise want to make a point, and they start to plumb the depths of their brain for what exactly to say. Somehow, they seem to land all too often on this get a real job train, and I have never really understood why. Maybe it's because I mainly focus on video game content. Maybe it's because they're jealous. It may be a combination of some factors that I'll never fully understand, leading them to the conclusion that YouTube is not a real job, and those who upload content and earn a successful living doing so are somehow lying, or something like that, or fake, or otherwise lesser or inferior because of it. Well, honestly, that I don't, whatever. Let's dive in. First, I think it's important to understand what defines a job. Since the words quote unquote real job are often used, what constitutes a fake job? Since YouTube, for myself and many others, is a perfectly viable way of supporting ourselves, that's obviously not it. That has nothing to do with it then. Since there are a great many YouTubers earning salaries far higher than the median average income in their area, it also clearly has nothing to do with the dollar amounts. So where is the disconnect? The closest I can gather is that these people believe uploaded video content to be unworthy of earning revenue in some capacity or another. This completely blows my mind, but this is kind of as close as I can get. Thus leading them to the conclusion that the ability of YouTubers to manage their own schedule without oversight, earn a living with complete autonomy, and pick/pursue any content direction at their own discretion is somehow undeserved or unearned. To just drop the whole politically correct, never be mean to anyone ever because the world needs to be one giant safe space bull for a second. These people are idiots. They're stone cold, dumb
My brain is for what?
idiots. Some people might say that I'm overly antagonistic on a side note, especially just now, and to those people, I would say you're right, but at the same time, in a society where everyone is kind of being forced into this gray blob mentality of never saying anything that could possibly be offensive to anyone and not knowing what could be offensive to anyone, so really just having this clamped down just fear of what you say and how you say it, I say that that destroys individuality, and it really isn't something that I want to conform to, and it really makes me kind of freak out, and that's why sometimes I'm offensive, and I call people idiots, and I say that things are dumb, because they are dumb. They really are, and someone needs to say that they're dumb, instead of always glossing over and saying that they're, it's acceptable, and it's fine, and it's cool, and I can see how some people... No, like, some of the things that people say are just flat out dumb, and they need to be called dumb, and they need to be told that they're dumb. Sorry for that complete side rant. Let me put it this way. When you watch a superhero movie, whether it be Marvel or DC, both are fantastic. We don't choose that kind of side here. And you think about the special effects involved, someone made those. That's their entire job. Is that a real job? When you watch cable and see an advertisement for a new, let's say, exercise product, someone else made that ad. Someone else entirely researched demographics and product/brand appeal. Someone else after that even negotiated with other business partners to contract that advertisement and place it on air. Are these real jobs? A statistician, is that a real job? A mathematician in general, how about that? A music video producer, a graphic designer, an event coordinator. The list goes on and on. Are these all quote unquote real jobs, or are real jobs restricted to physical labor professions and trade skills? On the surface, it may seem like YouTubers have it really easy. It's the simplest thing in the world, right? You make a video, you upload it, you get 1 million views, and you cash in. But in reality, every single YouTuber who I personally know who has made the jump and turned content creation into a full career does far more than that and uses a composite set of skills which are seen across a wide spread of professions to create a flexible, potentially highly lucrative, and creative career path for themselves, which, if anything, requires more critical thinking, labor hours, and intelligence than a lot of other quote-unquote real professions. On any given day that I work on a video, it usually requires scripting and some research. Are literary jobs not real? Is journalism not a real career? Now, I won't claim to be a premier gaming news channel, but they absolutely do exist on YouTube, and I like to dabble at times and see where it leads as I learn over time. After scripting and researching, it becomes time to gather all the footage. For some videos, this means simply diving into my old library of recordings, which is super easy, but originally I did have to get those from somewhere. Other days, depending on subject matter, it means meticulously gathering specific segments of video game material, which can take a great deal of time. After that, it's time to edit, and the video editing in and of itself is an entire career. Once that's finally done, there needs to be a thumbnail. There's graphic design. Then it's time to upload, which unleashes keyword research, search engine optimization, and much, much more. All of that is said and done, there's one video right there. After all of that work combined, that's a single YouTube video that hopefully will get some viewership. All of that for one upload, and for some creators it only takes a few hours. For other, more thorough videos though, with lots of editing, it can take days or even weeks. But then you get to the back end of all of that development. What comes next is not necessarily universally true of every single YouTuber, but to some degree, it most often is. Now it's time for community management. Most channels have a patron page or a linked Twitch channel or a Facebook group or a Discord or some combination of all of them. That means checking on moderation teams, marketing your alternative communities and platforms, and incentivizing purchases or participation. I myself have a great team of people in my corner at Upper Echelon LLC, and I don't really do all that much day-to-day moderation or management anymore. But when putting together teams to manage communities of social media participants that number in the thousands or even tens of thousands of members, is that a real job or is that not a real job? Larger companies have dedicated positions whose only responsibility is just that, social media management, and many YouTubers tackle that responsibility daily. Then after that, you move on to merchandise. Most full-time creators that I know have merchandise of some kind. This means picking a third party, possibly negotiating a contract, or at the very least designing or working with an artist to have designs made, then marketing those designs to the communities that they have built. The list goes on and on and on, and I could sit here and rant about this for hours on end. I kid you not, I'm being 100% serious. I could talk about this for many, many hours. While YouTubers may not necessarily use PhD level skill sets, I mean, some actually do, but I sure as shit don't. They do use and develop over time skills in branding, scripting, video and audio editing, research, negotiation, mathematics, advertising, marketing, management, design, and so many more things which would drag the video on and on. And yet again, I could list these things for quite some time. The last point that I will make to this end is that Upper Echelon is in fact a limited liability company. And while not every YouTuber has expanded their brand to this official capacity, many in fact have, more than you would think. And being a small business owner, is that not considered a real job? All in all, most people won't really care about this video in the slightest, nor should they. It doesn't really apply to them. But after seeing the sheer amount of people on the internet, especially in YouTube comments, who fire off half-baked, "he just can't get a real job" comments at me or at many other YouTubers whom I personally know, I watch and I support, I wanted to go ahead and make this. If you apply a definition of, quote unquote, "it's not real unless it's manual labor," I mean, then sure, honestly, I don't have a real job if that's your definition. But if you apply any halfway intelligent definition, YouTubers not only have a real job, they have more freedom, control, and growth potential than many other careers. There is not much job security, I'll admit that. YouTube can be a fickle thing. But the diverse set of skills utilized in an ever-evolving way more than qualifies as job experience and justifies viability as a career. If you have ever jumped into the comment section of a YouTuber, especially one that you just simply disagree with on that particular video or something lame like that, to type up some poor grammar, 5th grade reading level paragraph about why they only do YouTube because they can't get a real job or don't want to look for a real job because they are entitled brats and blah, 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 blah. Just stop. You're embarrassing yourself. YouTube may not be what you define as a real job with some backwards criteria justified by a hardly functional shriveled up brain, but in reality, it's a pretty sweet gig. That's gonna pretty much wrap it up. However, I can sense a disturbance. A paragraph being angrily written about how wrong I am, and yes, post it, feed it to me, let me gorge myself on the tears. And if you liked the video, share it with all your friends. But if you hated the video, I have an idea. Share it with all your friends and tell them how angry you are. That'll really show me. That'll educate me and get me. But as always, guys, thank you for watching. Check out the Upper Echelon forums down below and all the other things linked as well if you'd like to support the community. Have a nice night. Also, everyone's making their videos over 10 minutes long, so I'm going to make mine 9:59 exactly instead of 10.